Hello again there, everybody. This is not going to be Agenda League. This is going to be a continuation of the ManaTraders qualification rounds. I've already qualified, so sorry for the spoiler. I should have given a spoiler alert, but if you haven't caught up by now, this particular list that we're doing has been absolutely excellent. This is our current record in the ManaTraders event. Oops, wrong window. This window. Did it again. This window. Okay, here we go. So here's our current record. We are 9-1. We needed to have a 70% win rate within the first 10 matches, and we did it. So currently 9-1, playing these opponents. I don't remember what the loss was, but we've been absolutely crushing it so far. But to qualify for like the money, you need to have at least 20 matches under the belt, which is why I'm in third place based on win percentage so far. But all these people have already accomplished 20 or more matches to qualify for this leaderboard. So I'm going to play a few more, and I'm in a good position to maybe place. So we'll see if I can get on there and get some cash money. So let's get this over here for queuing purposes. All right, and I did mention to people in chat that I wanted to do a quick deck tech. I guess while we're on the screen, I could just give my little opinion on how the meta is looking right now. So Blue-Red Blitz is number one in meta representation. I think this is also probably just the best deck right now. I know a lot of people are thinking it's probably Heliod. I think in terms of the tier list, I know it's fairly dynamic, but I think Blitz and Heliod pretty firmly the only as tier one list with most other decks in this top, however many coming in at tier two. John's not currently in the top 15, I believe, which is fine. But yeah, I think Blitz and company probably the best decks by far. The one thing that I do really want to point out is, at least as far as these top three decks are concerned, removal is probably just going to be king. Obviously versus Blitz and Heliod, there are going to be key pieces that we need to be able to kill on the spot, or at least defend versus comboing. And then even in the case of Eldrazi-Tron, removal is going to be good. So it's nice that the best three decks, the cards that we want to see, overlap. So removal is going to be good, and we'll see in the current build how much removal I have packed. Blue-Red Breach, really old strategy, but relatively new to the top 15. Trying to combo through the Breach with Emrakul to hit for 15 in the air and annihilate for 6, which will usually end the game on the spot. And then we've got the other combo-y, mid-rangey decks that we've come to know and love over the past year or so. And y'all can read, so I'm not going to read it all to you. But we've got some matchups we would like to see, some that we don't, like this one. But I mean, all in all, this is looking like a fine spot for Jun. So let's look at the main deck now. This is the same deck that I've been using to some pretty good success recently. I am a combined, 25-5 with this list. A few of those losses were because I went 2-3 in one league, my most recent league, because I was playing fast and loose, and there are definitely two matches that I could have won had I not been an idiot, but I was an idiot for at least two of those matches. So been having a really, really good experience with this deck, and I'm hoping to continue that in more of these qualification matches. I am playing, I guess I mentioned this was the same list as before. That's not technically true. I swapped the Ghost Quarter for Damping Sphere just because there really aren't that many matchups where the Ghost Quarter has been good. And in the matchups where I want to bring in the Ghost Quarter, Damping Sphere would probably also come in too. So that's the 1-for-1 swap there. Obviously the Experiment, which isn't so much an experiment anymore, is the Bone Crusher Giant. It does an excellent job doing pretty much everything. When I'm evaluating a card, I typically want it to do at least one of three things well. I want it to either generate card advantage, disrupt the opponent, or provide a meaningful clock. And Bone Crusher just does all three of those things. It's Stomp disrupts the opponent. Its Bone Crusher Giant half is a very good clock, and then when you cast both halves, it's card advantage. It's a 2-for-1 a good amount of the time. I'm playing 5 1-mana discard spells. I think discard is at a premium when the format is filled with control and combo, but when it's leaning more towards aggro and mid-range, I tend to like it less, and right now I think it's more aggro and mid-range, so I'm shaving down on the discard package. I mentioned in the metagame snapshot that I think removal is going to be very good. So I'm playing 7 1-mana removal spells, and I've even got my 8th 1-mana spell in the sideboard and another Fatal Push. Gwaif's still going to be the best generic beater we've got access to. And then to round out the creature slots, I already mentioned Bone Crusher, playing 4 copies of Tarmogoyf, because, you know, card's good. Playing 3 copies of Bloodbraid, mainly because with the 3 Bone Crushers, I don't want to invert my curve too much. And I am playing 2 copies of Kroxa, just been a pretty excellent threat, and it's also going to be one of our better creatures in a lot of matchups, especially the ones that are mid-rangey like Eldrazi-tron. And I'm also playing 2 copies of Dark Confidant. I don't think this card is particularly well positioned right now. It's really good versus Heliod, but a lot of the other really good decks right now, like Blitz, which is really popular, and like Eldrazi-tron, which is really popular, they're not excellent. This card's fine versus Eldrazi-tron, but they have a lot of good ways to kill it, like Walking Bliss, Dismember, Spatial Contortion, all that crap. And then they're pretty good at threatening our life total. So Bob's going to shine when the opponents aren't really threatening our life total a whole lot. And card advantage really matters. And that is a really big chunk of the format. But I don't know that it's a significant enough chunk right now. But we've still got 2 in the list because this is basically a copy-paste of the list that I've been playing that's been doing really well. So I'm just going to keep on running it and see if we can win some money off of ManaTraders. So let me get in the queue and then I'll catch up with chat. Play in the May series, please. Alright, play a leaderboard match. My deck is ready. Okay. $18-2, let's go. Yeah, I'm gonna try. Yeah, they won't see Jund coming. No one's stupid enough to play Jund, right? What's KO? Yeah, I got your Abzan list over here. Where? Come on, Magic Online, load for me. There it is. There's the beauty. Anything you like? Yeah, Ren and 6 4-color nonsense. Yeah, I've got that deck mostly built in paper because I want to play it as soon as those events start happening again. It's a fun one. I think one of the cards that I would like to cast more of that I just haven't is Cryptic Command, because that card's like an absolute blast to cast. I'm always on non-blue decks, so. Alright, we've been paired. We are looking for a match, right? Their name is Chiozani. So let's go to, what is it? Constructed, right? Modern best of 3. We've got, let's make sure it's good to go. They're already waiting for us, so that's good. Yeah, this looks correct. Oh, someone joined their match by accident. That's awkward. I guess we'll wait for them to recreate it. Yeah, but why would you pay 4 mana for Cryptic Command when you can just play Veil of Summer? It's kind of the same thing, right? And well, hopefully they realize they've got the wrong opponent, and then we can rejoin. You're always on the blue decks, but you think Jund's really fun. I would agree. Jund, I think, is the most fun deck to play. I think it's just because I enjoy making decisions, or at least like when the games have some amount of player agency, like what your decisions like actually matter in the game. And I think Jund has the most. I think that occurs with Jund the most. Sounds good. Bone Crusher doing a pretty good job of being our only threat here. Had this been just any other removal spell, this hand would look a lot weaker. They've mulliganed to 6. First 2 matches on Breach, and I'm against 2 back-to-back Hand Disrupts and discarded decks, win the next 2, and then go 2-3 against a freaking Asfertold deck. Asfertold's irritating, yeah. One makes you hate life, one makes you enjoy Magic. Speaking of hating life, we've got Map. Based on metagame share, another bolt. Based on metagame share, this is more likely Eldrazi-tron, which this hand is okay suited against, unless they've got a Chalice, then we're kind of screwed. All right, well this could just be regular Tron, and then we die. So I mean, we're gonna go Stomping Ground into Blood Crypt into Renin 6. And then I guess we hope they're on Eldrazi and not regular Tron. And then I'm going to get the Verdant back, because if I'm going to get a basic next turn, it's most likely to want to be a swamp. Basic swamp. You're halfway there with 11 damage in hand. Yeah, basically. They're kind of at 9 already, right? So no one's surprised they get a power plant. Reshaper. Okay, so it is Eldrazi. We might be in it. They have nothing else? I mean, they may have kept their hand on the strength of having Tron, which is a good reason to keep it. Liliana is a good draw. So I would love to just get this Bone Crusher down, because I need to attack. But Liliana does get significantly worse when they've got more creatures in play. But I've got lots of removal to make sure that I can like kill the Reshaper and then have one thing left. And the read is that they don't have much more action, right? So I kind of like just playing Bone Crusher as a 4/3, so I can start attacking. Because if I Liliana and minus this thing, they're A, going to just draw a card. And I think and then B, that's just giving them more time to actually find action. I think the line that gives me the best odds of somehow pulling ahead is to just play my 4/3 and let my Renin 6 get smacked. So I think that's what I'm going to do. JS Nodgrass, thank you for the follow. I appreciate it. So yeah, I'm going to make the slightly awkward play of just cast Bone Crusher as a 4/3, because again, if I Liliana minus here, we're just giving the opponent infinite time to find something that beats us, and their average draw step has to be better than ours. So I think applying a pressure here is going to be our highest win rate percentage. And we'll just say go. Just want to know what they have in hand with 7 mana. They could have like an Ulamog. I know a lot of the Eldrazi players are playing Ulamog these days. Don't know why, to be honest. Doesn't really improve any of their bad matchups. But then again, I'm not an Eldrazi player, so I don't have the most experience. Yeah, I mean, if they just draw lands, this may be a hand that we can beat. They're really not doing anything. Wow. I don't know what this means. Maybe they have All Is Dust and they're waiting for us to commit more. Inquisition might clear the air up. If they do have something like a Dismember, I'm going to want to attack first. So they dismember the Bone Crusher after I've hit them with it. Well, we'll just see how far we get. And it does hit them. So if I Inquisition here, I can't Liliana and hold up a removal spell. If they play something like a Thought-Knot Seer, I'm going to need to hold up this Fatal Push. I guess I could still then just bolt Reshaper and then Liliana the Thought-Knot, as long as they don't like flip another Reshaper. You're saying that Ulamog is to beat Infinite Life through decking against Heliod? That makes some sense. I mean, is there not something you can get with Karn? Yeah, I really don't know what they're doing. If they don't have a removal spell, then Inquisition is going to hit actual nothing. So maybe it really is just best to play a fetch land, hold up the Liliana, or sorry, play Liliana and hold up a Fatal Push in case they draw exactly Thought-Knot. But I mean, I think getting information might be good. I think I'm going to go minus with the Renin 6 because we've identified that we've got just a crap ton of burn in hand, so I think any amount of damage I can push is good. Yeah, let's minus Renin 6 at them, but I really don't know what the right thing to do here is in terms of Liliana and what. It's close. I think they're most likely on All Is Dust, which makes Liliana look bad. Let's lead Inquisition and get the information. Get Elixir of Immortality, but it takes forever. Yeah, I guess. I mean, if they pay 4 life and take 2 off a Dismember, they go to 10, we're 1 off. Actually, we're not even 1 off because I'm going to ping with the Renin 6. Warping Wheel to counter. Okay, well, that was something we thought they could have had. Alright, well, this Ren's dying anyway. Let's go upstairs. Alright, so now the decision is still Liliana or hold up a bunch of removal spells. If I Liliana and plus, what am I ditching? I guess just a land. Nurturing Peatland then. Get basic swamp again. I mean, you want to get more red, but I can't actually fetch a red source here because I don't have the foothills. Let's just get other swamp, Liliana plus, discard Peatland. Yeah, no, I don't think I'm going to minus this thing. They're very clearly digging for action. Let's just keep all the spells. Discard. Yeah, maybe their hand really is just all lands. That'd be pretty lucky. Really, did they draw the Thought Knot? They drew the Thought Knot. That's hilarious. I mean, we can always ping the Thought Knot and then bolt it, but I was hoping to keep the burn for the face. Please don't play it Chalice. That'd be backbreaking. I mean, we're assuming they drew the Thought Knot though, right? Which means they don't have a Chalice. Hitting Liliana so I can't Edict. That makes some sense. What do we draw? Another Liliana. Okay. So I can just ping this and then bolt it, see what I draw. That seems fine. Leave the green available in case I hit like a Goyf or something. Another Renin 6, okay. I might just plus this, ditch the Renin 6. If they attack this down, I may need the Liliana to Edict something. Let's for sure take their last card. That just seems advisable. I'll keep the Liliana. Yeah, it really was just a land. Alright, maybe we get there. Alright, and we're one short of hit them plus double bolt being good. They obviously have lots of draws that effectively kill us on the spot. So, not feeling comfortable yet. Like, Karn would be excellent. Scavenger Ground's not excellent. Should I just throw a bolt upstairs now? Is there any reason to? I guess the reason would be that I can't bolt and Liliana next. Yeah, let's throw a bolt upstairs. I'm going to keep one in case they do find a Karn, and I really need to minus on them. Alright, let's attack for 4. I guess had I kept the Renin 6, I would have been able to kill them here, right? Because I could have pinged them with it. That said, I guess I'm just going to go Liliana plus it. Because, like, if they blank again and they attack, they just die. So playing the Liliana might just be good. I can discard the Bloodstained Mire, keeping the Bolt. So yeah, I mean, they're pretty close to dead here. Maybe they accidentally thought they were a legit Tron. Doubt that, but who knows. It's official Bone Crusher better than Reshaper. Look, it's a 4-3 and this is a 3-2. That has to mean it's better, right? 3 mana and 3 mana. Alright, now they hit the thing. What did you hit? Did you hit the Ulamog off the top? That'd be brutal. It's an Eldrazi though, right? They tapped their temple. They really drew the Ulamog off the top. That's hilarious. They're hitting my stuff. I mean, not much I can do about that. I mean, I'm gonna go for the W. I mean, that's the story pretty much all the time, right? Is they just draw it off the top. I mean, there was a way I won this game though, right? Like, had I just kept the Renin 6, we could also just draw a burn spell here. Aw. Alright, you win. So yeah, had I kept the Ren and 6, we would have been able to do that extra point. So there was a way that I won. Don't know that it was an obvious way, because at the stage in the game that we were at, I still think killing the... Keeping a Liliana to edict something was good. So, I mean, they just drew it off the top. I mean, they drew dead for a while, so I think, like, by no stretch were they super unlucky, you know? Or no, by no stretch was that super lucky. They should have had something to do a while ago. Alright, bolts are less good, but they're still good for finishing off Karns when we can't get through to them, right? Bulb is pretty fragile here, but I think any 2-mana threat's got to be good enough, to be honest. Alright, I need some cuts. Ren and 6s don't do much of anything, unfortunately. We need 2 more cuts. I think I'm going to be cutting the Inquisitions. They just really don't do a lot. The Thoughtseizes can take their big stuff, so I think they're just better. I spoke in the deck tech that I hedged towards Thoughtseize specifically because of Eldrazi-tron, so pretty cool that we're having it paid off already. Yeah, Inquisition really doesn't do much, I agree. We get to go first. With a keep. Liliana, I think, is probably one of the better cards we've got in the matchup. And we've got to turn to Dark Confidant, which is going to be nice, too, assuming no Warping Whale or Dismember. I think, like, some number of Warping Whales and Dismembers actually come out, so Ba might even just be safer now than it was before. They mulliganed again. Nice. Do it again. Do it again. Oh, they went to 4. Jeez. Well, his hand looks great against 4 cards. Scratch that. Looks even better against 3. The real Scrody. Thank you for the follow. I appreciate it. They went to 2. Yeah, I'm feeling pretty good about this game. I haven't had an opponent go to 2 against me in a long while, that's for sure. It's usually only like Dredge that does it. Alright, land go. This'll get Overgrown Tomb or a Blood Crypt. I guess we'll make it Overgrown Tomb because then if we draw Blackleaf Cliffs, we've maximized how good the Blackleaf Cliffs is. Alright, and instead we could just get, I guess, still Blood Crypt now. Whenever we only have 2 threats here, so this Bob might be living a good amount of time, and we really don't want to have ourselves be threatened by the Bob when we can just not be threatened by it pretty freely. So I can get basic Mountain here, and then I can get basic Swamp next turn for Liliana. And then if they want to dismember this or Warping Whale it or whatever, I'm feeling pretty good when they're only on 3 cards. Just don't have another land, yikes. Well, this Liliana is going to be pretty good versus their almost no card hand. I should have played the Mire because this gets basic forest, whereas Mire doesn't. It's unlikely to matter at all just because we're so far ahead. But I still should have done it a little bit more tightly. I'll keep the creature land. Push does need Revolt. But, again, I think we're so far ahead that it just hardly matters. We revealed the Tarmogoyf. That'll close things even more quickly. Alright, so let's, I guess, should plus first, right? Technically. Just ditch a Blood Crypt that probably won't matter. Discard a Chalice. Yeah, I mean, there's a good argument to just discarding some spells, because if I empty my hand more quickly and make Liliana asymmetrical faster, Liliana gets better. But my hand is going to be so full with Dark Confidant that I hardly think that's a consideration. Temple, you got a Thought Knot? Well, it won't matter. Reshaper, sure. How embarrassing would it be to lose this game? I don't think it'll happen, but it could. They have one card left. Let's just threaten an ultimate. No reason to not to. Now we can ditch redundant Liliana number 3. Yes, they did have a spatial contortion. Interesting. Alright, if I attack for 4, I guess I don't have... I can't defend this for free, but that's fine. I'm going to attack for 4 here, play a Bone Crusher as a 4/3, and then if they attack, I'll just block with Bob and ultimate them. I feel like it's going to be pretty impossible to lose from there. What you flip? Is it another one? Demonstrate a loop? A tower. Okay. That is A-okay. Cast a Bone Crusher. Actually, I guess I should just shock them too, right? It's free, might as well. Maybe end this game a little sooner. Oakley dokley, you're up. Okay. We've already got all these types in the yard already. Let's just attack. Oh, I should have activated Ravine and killed them, right? Oops. It doesn't matter. But I for sure should have activated the Ravine. I'm not going to show them the Plague Engineer. Yeah, I should have killed them. Oops. What's this weird dotted line? I'm giving them the information of one more card in my deck. Or, well, it was a land. Doesn't matter. Okay. Yeah, I should have fired up the Ravine, but yeah, I forgot. I was so far ahead, I was in autopilot. Alright, well, we got a gimme for game 2. Let's see if we can get game 3 on the draw, though. Don't think I'm making many changes. These cards are all pretty low impact to no impact. I think I'm just going to resubmit. Dr. Ligma redeems drink some water. I should really do that, actually. I gotta go get a glass after this game. This is difficult. I don't think I can keep this. Thoughtseize is where we want to be, but we just have nothing decent to follow up. I think this is a ship. It'll feel bad when we see a less good 6, but we need to get pretty lucky for this hand to develop. Okay. We can keep this. So I can get Overgrown Tomb, have Basic Mountain. Is it worth it gambling on drawing more lands? I think the bottom here is either Bolt or Forgotten Cave. I'm almost definitely casting Tarmogoyf on turn 2. I don't think I'm going to need to cast Bolt or Push on turn 1, so I could always just Forgotten Cave on turn 1, get it out of the way. I think that's the plan, because like my more impactful stuff like Kalitas and Bloodbraid, I need lands for. And they become Cletus and Bloodbraid become pretty bad draws if I don't have the lands in the foreseeable future. So I think I'm gonna bottom the Bolt, play the Forgotten Cave. And there we drew the Bloodbraid, so keeping the lands looking a little bit smarter. How's the redeemed posture tech? You care about me too much. Alright, well they don't have the Tron, that's nice. Got Chalice. Well, bottom Bolt, which is good. Okay. So if I am to play Tarmogoyf now, I need to play a green source. I need to just draw Overgrown Tomb. Does it matter if I fetch now or later? It doesn't, right? I guess if for whatever reason they have Scavenger Grounds and pop it, I need the fetch for later. Also, I may need the fetch to kill a Thought-Knot Seer, so let's save the fetch. So we'll shock this, play Goyf. And I'm aware they've got the Chalice, but I mean, it could still come up if I find something like a Kolaghan's Command later. Double power plant. All right. Well, at least they're not on the Tron draw. Two pretty dysfunctional games from the opponent. They just like didn't find anything until the last turn last time, and then obviously, y'all saw game 2. Spatial Contortion. Exile a creature with power 1 or less. All right. So this would have worked even had I fetched. The deck on paper just doesn't make sense. I mean, yeah, I mean, they're slightly above rate, I guess below rate creatures, but with above rate lands to make your below rate creatures above rate. So like, if you can assemble the lands, then it's great, but if you can't, it's pretty slow. Alright, I think I'm just going to go basic mountain, cast a 4/3. Just going to try to apply some pressure. I'm inclined to agree with you, Dr. Ligma. Chalice is for sure one of the better payoffs because they just don't play a whole lot of ones, right? And like Chalice is an excellent card. I would love to be able to play it, but the issue is that we play too many things that would get countered by it, right? So having basically no 1-drops in the deck means you can play Chalice, and Chalice is very powerful when it's good, right? So now we need to find something like a Kolaghan's Command. Alright, well this is looking like just Shock plus Bloodbraid here. Can't Fatal Push this out of the way because again, Chalice, and then I'll save the fetch in case we are able to remove the Chalice somehow. We could also hit Pillage as a way to destroy the Chalice. We've got a good number of ways to maybe do it. Alright, well that gets countered unfortunately. I'm still going to cast it to add it to the graveyard. And then, am I attacking both? The issue is, like, if the opponent plays a Karn, I'm going to need a way to pressure it, which means that I need to make sure I got at least one creature to hold back. We're just not winning this game by sitting back on a hand of nothing, unfortunately. 4-color Jund splashing for Mana Leak. No thanks. Alright, what you got? Thought-Knot. Alright, well our hand is already a do-nothing hand. We need to find a Kolaghan's Command or a Pillage. Bob is okay. And again, Chalice in play is making this look pretty bad. Tear apart a hand? What hand? Yeah, pretty much. Chalice not typically really good versus us, but I mean, Fatal Push is pretty turned off right now. Like, our important cards are at 3 and 4 mana. But, I mean, some of our good ways to interact are at 1, so... Do I Fatal Push just so it's in the yard? Probably. I'm playing stuff like Croxa, so, I mean, these cards definitely have more value just being in the yard. Unfortunately, not playing Maelstrom Pulse. That would be a really good find, right? They should definitely attack. Okay. We've got only one Fatal Push in the deck now. I guess I'll fetch. Revolt isn't that big of a concern anymore. We've got only 2 black and 1 green, so I guess we're gonna get Overgrown Tomb. We would love still... I guess Kolagon's Command is not as good now. Let's find a Liliana, I guess would be good. 2 cards is good. That's not great. That's not great either. Oof. If they attack, I think I'm going to double block. I need to find action somehow. It's not drawn super well. Land go. And they do know about the Thoughtseize, so maybe I should be holding the land just to fake a surprise. But there aren't many surprises at instant speed that I would be holding on to here. Yeah, like Fatal Push would be bad now anyway, right? Chaos is right there. So yeah, if they attack both, I think I'm going to have to double block, which could open me up to a blowout, but I'm not doing much taking a hit for 8 here. I'm doing less now, jeez. I don't know why this card is in the deck. It hits only Bob, right? I guess they hit Orglyph with it, but how often is that going to happen? I guess now I will just take 8, go to 6. Does not feel good. Liliana, please. We need Liliana into something, pretty much. That makes the into something part a little harder. Not good. Alright, we lost one. Let's just re-queue right now. No, that was a really, really weird match. Alright, we are in the queue. Should have been playing Abzan, right? Yeah, that Chalice was good. It's weird. It's like we lost to all of the cards that in my opinion, should not be in the deck. Like we lost to Chalice and we lost to Spatial Contortion. Those are the 2 cards that I would typically want to see from the opponent, right? Because they aren't things that deal with Tarmogoyfs or our Blood Braids or our Lilianas. So it's like they kept in all the cards that don't deal with our good cards and kept in all the cards that are good versus our cards, and then we drew all of our cards. So yeah, I think that's true, Ligma. And that's because like if they've got their nutty Tron hands that are just unbeatable, it's like, well, okay. And then they've got the games where they draw actual nothing until they top deck Ulamog on the last possible turn, right? We have dropped to 6th. Oh no. Hopefully we're able to still get into the prizing bracket. Once you're qualified, you can't lose the qualification, so we're good there. Have a good one, Halsey. Oh, yeah, KO. Do you see what I was saying? Oh, it just disappeared. Because it said I was paired. But it said that I need to play 9 more matches for the to qualify for the leaderboard. It's behind this. Yeah, it's like play however many. I need 9 more. So you need a combined 20 to qualify for prizing, at least as far as the pre-league goes. All right. I'm creating though. Create. Nexero 33. You got him. Hokedok. They've expertly defeated us at the die roll. We've got a good one though. And again, this is another hand where Bone Crusher is looking excellent. We don't have any interaction on turn 2 except for Bone Crusher, and we also don't have a decent threat except for Bone Crusher. So Bone Crusher doing a few different jobs for this hand. Steam Vent's tapped. Okay, well that could be, is it Prowess? It could be Through the Breach. It could be some more fringe things like Storm. Luckily we don't have to guess for too long. Oh god. What is this? Oh, this is like the collected company for spells, right? What in the world? I guess I'm taking the Restore Balance. I just don't want to play against that card. Not super concerned about Flame Slash. It kills Bone Crusher, but sure. I'm assuming they've got like As Foretold type effects to cheat in the Restore Balance, which I don't want to allow. I doubt we're stomping anything here, so I can just cast the Kroxa, right? I guess we should plan the mana situation. I guess I can get basic Swamp now if the plan is just to get it next turn anyway. Or I could just get the Stomping Ground now and get basic Swamp next turn. I guess I should do the Stomping Ground now just to make the mana better earlier if I'm getting Stomping Ground anyway. So let's get that. Say yes. Cast this thing. So hopefully this collected Conjuring doesn't do something silly. Don't know what other weird things they could be casting. This does only hit 3 or less, right? Yeah. That's brutal. That's pretty rude. Now we need lands. If we can find lands, we'll be in it. I guess Pillage is another thing they could hit off of Collected Conjuring. These kinds of cards tend to be really good when you're ahead, but less good when you're not. Okie doke. Goyf would have been really good here. Alright, I guess I want to draw a land, so I won't fetch. Or, well, when we hit a land, we'll have a Wrenn, so that's good. Which will hopefully insulate us versus more of these effects. Yeah, it looks like 4-color land destruction, which is not something I've seen before. Yeah, I have no idea what's happening, KO. Here comes Collected Conjuring and a Coco for some more Stone Rains. Just like, how's it templated? You exile them? You exile the top 6, okay. So they don't want to restore, they don't want to flame slash. I guess they only have Serum Visions. But it's May, right? So they don't have to like have targets for everything. Cast Restore Balance, I dare you. Alright, 4 mana Serum Visions is something I can deal with. And again, I'm not going to fetch because I want to draw a land, and also I don't want them to just like pillage. If they pillage my Verdant, I'll just fetch in response, right? Come on, any land that isn't a Raging Ravine. There's only one Raging Ravine in the deck. Okay, dokie. That was a big miss. You gonna do it again? Oh, brutal. I guess they can... The best thing they have here is a draw 3. That's really bad for me, too. They've had kind of the nuts in terms of pillages. We got lucky on the collected Conjuring, but this makes it look like it's just not going to matter. That one doesn't cast Ren and 6. Let's just scoop it up here. 4-color BS. Alright. Should we give them a taste of their own medicine? Probably not. Brutality seems good here. Not much else, unfortunately. Do they do much searching? I don't think so. Maybe they're playing some graveyard stuff. Maybe they're playing what's the finale that like casts 2 things from the yard? It's probably better than something in the main deck. Alright, what do we not want? Probably taking out spot removal first. Push is better than terminate, I guess. I guess not true if they're playing Elder Gargaroth. Or Greater Gargadon. Finale of Promise. That sounds accurate. I just remember that like the names don't make sense. Like Finale of Devastation is the green one. You're saying anything better than Bolt? Yeah, I mean Bolt goes to face and that's about it, right? Everything else seems fine. Like this matchup seems like it should be okay, barring a restore balance with a Gargaroth. Need one more cut as is. Probably a push. Like pushes kill the 4/4s, but that's the only purpose. I mean, we could probably just outsize them anyway. Let's do this. What about Terminate? I think Terminate's better than Push because if they have a Elder Gargaroth, Terminate kills it, whereas Push does not. So if it's between exactly Push and Terminate, I don't think either are great, but I think Terminate definitely better. We've got double Overgrown Tomb. We've got Spellbound Thoughtseize, and any land has us hitting Liliana. Probably a keep. Would really love a Ren and 6, but we also can't cast it or have a fetch for it. Okie dokie. This is the kind of magic I like. Where I can't do anything. Yeah. There's the Gargadon. That is not a help. I mean, I guess we do need lands to at some point hit Bloodbraid. And I am going to cycle this on my opponent's end step. I can still target myself with it. Sure. One of the weaknesses of my current configuration as I don't really have a good way to deal with enchantments. I'm not playing Assassin's Trophy or a Maelstrom Pulse. Might be something to think about moving forward. So yeah, I mean, Liliana's plus will still work, which is something. Tapped red land? Jeez. Well, at least it's red. So now I have to choose between Liliana on 3 or Bloodbraid on 4. I could always Liliana now and just hope to spike it. I think that's the plan. Liliana is going to be better the longer it's in play. But if the opponent has Restore Balance, I'm going to really want the Renin 6 in play. So I can like actually be in the game buying lands back. Brutal. They'd have to have As Foretold and the Restore Balance. They've sleight of handed twice, so it's not completely unlikely. But the thing is, like, if they've got it, they're just going to do it immediately. So it just doesn't matter. Liliana plus. Yeah, if they balance, they sack all of their lands, but then we can't beat the Gargaroth. And, like, they'll have As Foretold in play, so they don't need lands. So I'm just going to hope to spike a untapped red source off the top. Got a good chunk of lands that do it. Split the difference top bottom with that. So I guess we're not getting hit with it this turn, which is good. And then if I do get lucky and hit the untapped red, I think I've got to use the Bloodbraid first. So I need to clock the opponent. Don't know why this card is in their deck. Maybe they're really worried about Croxa, but that doesn't seem like the axis they want to be fighting on. Untapped red, please. Thank you. So I guess now I am plussing Liliana, discarding Kolaghan's Command. I guess if they kill Bloodbraid, we can get it back with Kolaghan's Command, so that would be a reason to keep it. I mean, I could also just ditch a land because Renin 6 is going to start buying them back anyway. That seems acceptable. So we'll plus first, ditch the Forgotten Cave. Discarded a Pillage. Jeez. Maybe I want to Renin 6 just because they could pillage my only red source. If they spend a turn doing that, maybe I'm just okay though, because I'll just be repeatedly attacking with the Bloodbraid. I'll get the Stomping Ground now, because if I fetch after getting pillaged, Blood Crypt seems more valuable. So let's do Stomping Ground. Alright, we want to hit additional pressure, I believe. We haven't hit Kolaghan's Command anyway. So literally none of these modes work. I guess we could Shatter an Artifact, but they'll just pop it in response. Thing is though, like, we have to choose a second mode, and like that other mode has to target us, so like we just don't even want to do that. So that was a pretty bad hit. It's like we go to Shatter this thing, they just draw a card anyway. Yeah, we really needed to hit like a Goyf or something. Goyf, Bob, Croxa. Croak's are less good because of the lantern, but then at least they don't draw a card off of lantern. Yeah, really needed additional pressure. Bone Crusher would have been great too. So now the route that we win through is hope that they don't have a way to enable the Gargaroth on top of something. Like, as for Told is our worst enemy right now, but they did scry one top, so I wouldn't be surprised to see some shenanigans happen here. Upkeep? What is happening? Upkeep? You know, like Electro Dominance? I don't know what the advantage to upkeeping it would be, but I guess we might learn something. Brutal. There's the Goyf. Alright, we're done here. Remember, we can't ultimate them because they've got Leyline. Alright, back to the queue. You want me to modern prelim? That's oh, is there one happening soon? I have work tomorrow. Doesn't even start for 10 hours anyway. Yeah, I hate that deck too, KL. Absolutely hate it. It's like mulligan aggressively to the cards that matter, and the cards that matter aren't really even that impactful. Because, like, what are you mulliganing to? Discard spells just so they can leyline you? Alright, we are creating the match for Janavi. I think that's how you spell it. Let's see if we can flip it around, though. We're 0-2 on the day. Still, I think 8-1. Not 8-1. We were 7-1 to qualify. Or sorry, no, I played 10. We were 9-1. Now we're 9-3. Yep, Bone Crusher looking good here. Keep on saying that. Damn it! Oh, come on. Jeez, can't catch a break. And this has to be regular Tron too, right? Because of Sphere. They've got no immediate route to Tron, but as soon as they hit it, we're in deep crap. More lands, not good. Alright, well, I guess I'm going to stomp the opponent's face. And then I'll probably just play a 4-3 before I Liliana. Keep it together. Keep it together, Marty. I can already see the title of this YouTube video forming. Yeah, I mean, I feel like there's not a lot to say here other than Ren and 6 isn't great, but it's probably fine. I mean, Bolt's not great either, but it can help steal a race, which is nice. Obviously, like the spot removal looks pretty abysmal. Cletus just way too slow. Let's run this. Yikes. So Ashiok is real good on the play, but not when they can tutor the Tron before it actually sticks. We have no threat and no hate piece. This is a ship. This is better. This hand's good. We're missing green, we're missing a threat, but as soon as we find either of those, maybe we pull ahead. Definitely keeping Thoughtseize, Wildfire, Liliana, and the lands to cast them. So I guess that has us ditching the Kolaghan's command. We've got map, scrying, and one Tron land and a Stirrings. I guess I should take a map, because if they scry, that means they have to not play a Tron land unless they draw an egg, which means they haven't drawn another Tron land. So I guess I take map number 1. We need to find a threat. There's the mine. And there's the map. We knew of these things. Ligma says tuck command as well. Glad you agree. So I think I do actually want a Wildfire here because it's going to be pretty important that I get to Liliana on 3. So let's just pop this Wildfire off right now. Because like if they've drawn a Tron land and I want a Liliana on 3, that means that they're going to have a turn with Tron, which I would like to avoid. Bloodbraid's a good find, but we need a green source. They play Forest and Scrying, so they haven't drawn a Tron land, which is promising. They can obviously search for one, though. They've got a Stirrings, which will be good. Alright, things are looking up. Let's get Stomping Ground. We want a green source. We already have double black. Let's say yes. Liliana plus. Ditching the Forgotten Cave. We want to guarantee our 4th land for the Bloodbraid, I believe. There goes the peatland. Alright, things are looking up. Let's see if they can find the Tron land. They do. Power plant down. Scrying again. Alright, so they're going to have the Tron 2 turns from now. Peatland. Alright, well, we do want to continue plussing, so let's play the Peatland, so maybe I can cycle that later. We'll plus first, so they discard without info. Another Scrying, okay. So we would love to hit a way to interact with their mana, or an additional source of pressure to get this game over with. There we go. There's pressure. Alright, we're doing alright. They can't have the Tron on their turn coming up, but they can immediately following. They also need to find a payoff, so I mean, as long as they don't, I guess, find a ridiculous payoff immediately, we can get an ultimate going. There's the mine that we knew about. We know they've got the tower rolled up. What do they get here? A utility land, maybe? This play might be a little bit loose from the opponent, right? Because like if we draw a way to interact with their mana here, be it like a Pillage or a Cleansing Wildfire, they may have wanted to keep this to know what to search for. They revealed Blast Zone. That makes sense. But I mean, they can't assemble Tron and have Blast Zone on the ready. Definitely plussing Liliana. So I guess I should shock first plus Liliana. I can then sack this to have 3 mana for whatever it is I find. The only thing up 3 mana that I would want is Kolagon's Command, right? Which doesn't even do a lot right here. So I guess I could just save the 2 life. Which could come up if they got something like a Ballista. Oh, you're right, Ligma. Pillage is something relevant that we could hit, so that would be a good reason to shock. That's a good point. Yeah, I mean, our life total is probably not going to matter, right? Like, it's only Ballista that could potentially bite us. In before Obstinate Baloth. There goes a power plant. Okay. Alright, and then obviously going to leave up the double red in case we hit it. We did not. Is there an instant in the yard? There's actually not an instant. So if we bolt them down to 14, we hit them for 7. So that puts them down to 10. I think I'm actually not bolting them because if they find a Karn and then hit something like a bridge, I'm going to need the bolt to kill it. I mean, I'm still ultimating the Liliana, so it's do I want to do 1 extra point? Probably don't need to, right? Because if they Karn and then get something like a Spyglass to turn off the Liliana, I can still just attack it. But then the bolt's going face anyway. So if the bolt's going to go face anyway, let's just send it upstairs now to get in the extra point. Alright, we've got an ultimate threatening. There's the Tron. Getting pretty tired of this, not gonna lie. We need Bloodbraid now. We need Bloodbraid into burn spells pretty much. That's a start. We don't have a creature to buy back though. It shocks the opponent and can have them discard their blast zone, I guess. You know, our plan is to burn them down somehow. We've got bolts in the deck. We've got bone crushers in the deck. Ren and 6s are pretty slow. Well, that's going to make it a lot harder. I mean, they had other things that do a similar job. They had, like, I'm assuming some number of Oblivion Stones. Yeah, we need back-to-back bolts off the top pretty much, unless they Sundering Titan us. In which case they can... I guess they can't actually Sundering Titan a Blackleaf Cliffs, but they can coding it. Yeah, we came in with a pretty good record, but we've had some pretty unfun games so far today. We went E-Tron into like collected company land destruction into just Tron again. Not great. There's the Chen you know and love, yeah, pretty much. I gotta refresh this, right? Okay, we got our next one already. So we are looking for a match from Medvedev. Yeah, bad matchup roulette, pretty much. It's like you're playing Russian roulette, but there's a bullet in every chamber. There they are. So, luckily we can't lose the qualification, because we'd be on our way to it. This hand's good. It needs like one more lands to be great. Oh, come on. This hand is fine versus Eldrazi Trance. Let's not panic yet. I'll lead on Mire. If they have turn 2 Thought Knot, we can push it. Reshaper is bad for me too. Oh, it's Chalice. This hand can beat a Chalice, so we're definitely in it. We're in this. We can go Bob coming up, Liliana on 3. I could just hold up a Stomp here, but I don't think Stomp is going to do anything here. Bob is on the fragile side, but I mean, it's something. Yeah, KO, your emote was built for this league. Alright, well there goes Liliana. We can Kolaghan's command the Chalice to regain access to the Fatal Push. We deserve a Liliana off the top, though. I'll even pay 3 life. No? Alright, so this is looking like a turn where we have to Chalice. Blow up the Chalice, that is. And if they attack with a Thought Knot, I'll block and then try to 2 damage it. Maybe that's bad because I plan on just pushing the Thought Knot anyway. This is just about the best target that we're gonna get. But if I don't plan on blocking, maybe I should be attacking. But I think I am actually just gonna block if they give me the opportunity. I could just play the 4/3, but I think I need to turn these pushes back online. Playing the 4/3 is better if they have something like a Karn, because that makes it a little easier to pressure. I think killing this Chalice to enable 2 pushes might be a higher priority. Yikes. I guess that resolves. Please attack with both. Boo. Alright, well, Liliana is still going to be an excellent find if we can, I guess, kill either of these. I want them to discard a card and shatter an artifact. So you'll discard, shatter, an artifact. Yeah, I mean, Liliana would still be a fine draw. We don't have the fetch, unfortunately, to like push this and Liliana the Smasher. All right, Bob. I want you to reveal a fetch land, and I want to draw Liliana. I think I deserve it, right? They discarded a Ballista. Jeez, their hand's got to be good. And it's only 1 card, but still. All right, reveal a fetch land, draw Liliana. I'll even take it in the reverse order. Worst case, I can sack Peatland for Revolt, but then I won't have much to do otherwise unless I have like a Goyf or something to maybe outsize this. Do we even outsize it? We would have instant land, artifact, creature. I mean, that's a way to kill the Smasher. I can combine it with a Bolt. That's 4 cards. So I guess what I'm doing is cycling Peatland, pushing Thought Knot Seer, trying to find a Goyf. I could play a 4/3 with the intention of double blocking, but based on them discarding Ballista, I feel like whatever they have in hand is going to make that not work out super well. There's the Liliana. I mean, I can block Reality Smasher and bolt it. So we are not out of it. But again, the card they have in hand is better than Ballista here. Take 4, put 2 damage on the Smasher. And then I guess I will ditch a Meyer here. Like in terms of what I'm discarding to this. Yeah. Smash her down. Thoughtseize is an interesting draw. I can Thoughtseize the opponent and then get them on empty with the Liliana. Start that going up. But playing Bone Crusher is better if they top deck a Planeswalker. So I think I'm going to Thoughtseize and Bone Crusher here. They could have like Dismember or something as a pretty likely holding. So Thoughtseizing first seems good. It's Ulamog. Jeez. I don't know why these decks play Ulamog. Like it doesn't make many matchups better. I guess like someone had said earlier that it's better versus the Infinite Life out of Heliod, which I guess makes sense. But if that's the only use, it doesn't seem great. Like that's what sideboards are for. I mean, we're somehow ahead this game. They don't have a crap ton of mana. Blast Zone's a really good draw when my other thing to do costs 3. That was a good draw too. Alright, we ripped. We finally ripped. Running 6, that's a good one. Okay, okay. I like what you're putting out. I like what you're putting out. We can return the Peatlands. We don't have Revolt, so keeping up push isn't worth a whole lot. But this is still going all right. So we going up to 3 on this Blast Zone now? Just to 2? That's kind of strange to me. I feel like they probably should have gone on up to 3. Because killing Bone Crusher actually cuts the clock a decent amount, but killing Renin 6 hardly feels like it matters right now. In a minute, yeah. What are you? Yeah. Sure. We've got 1 card remaining. Goyf is good, but I think I'm going to keep it in case I get all as dusted. So let's just Liliana plus ditch a Blood Crypt. I mean, the argument to Goyfing now would be that we, I guess, cut the turn down by cut the game down by a whole turn. Maybe it isn't worth it to play around only Ald's Dust right off of the top. We give them another turn to find it if I don't play the Goyf. So let's hope it's not exactly on top. And it is a tribal card, so this would help cast it. So just please don't Ald's Dust me off the top. That'd be swell. We can even beat a Worm Coil because we can Edict it and then push the Lifelinker. Okie dokie. Alright, so I like Pillage for sure. I like Kalidas. I like the Engineers. I like the Wildfires, but not the Damping Sphere. Bolts look not great. Same with Renin 6. I forget what I did last time. On the draw, I'm definitely cutting the Bobs. 1 more cut here. Oh, I cut the Inquisitions before, right? For sure. Do that. There's a pretty good thing to be said about just not playing lots of 1s because we saw Chalice be effective against us last time. So maybe I bring in a Renin 6, but Renin 6 just really doesn't do anything. I guess it's fine if we're also cycling a land, but Eldrazi Tron is not super likely to give us that kind of time. Opponent finally didn't rip exactly perfect. That's what it feels like, right? I mean, I feel like they probably just shouldn't have Chalice in their deck, so I'm not going to board out lots of bolts just because I'm worried about specifically Chalice. We've got answers to Chalice. I guess only 3. Well, 1 land is going to be a no-go, almost no matter how you look at it. Well, if you liked 1 land, how about 0? No thank you. And we've got Thoughtseize to eventually Liliana, so this is looking like a keep. And I guess I'm just keeping these 5, bottoming these. I could try to rip a land, but if I keep the Bloodbraid, I have to rip multiple lands. That doesn't seem good. Let's just keep the spells we can cast. They're on 6. I guess that's some help. Yep. So we've got 2 Renin 6s in the deck. If I draw a Renin 6, I'm going to be pretty sad if I play basic Swamp, so I guess I'll lead on Mire. I could fetch Overgrown Tomb now. Well, let's just lead on the Mire, I think. Maybe we may need to fetch for Revolt later. So again, I'll shock now in case we draw the one of 2 copies of Renin 6. So we've got Ballista, Smasher. Let's just take the Smasher. Smasher is going to be the hardest thing to deal with. But them playing Ballista as a 1/1 makes the Liliana pretty awkward. Because like they played as a 1/1, we Edict them, and then they just shoot it in response. Then we just trade 1 for 1. But I can't really play Liliana until they've already played the Smasher anyway. So I guess we'll just take the Smasher. They've already got a double Eldrazi Temple draw into it. Them just not doing it is good too. They may be... we drew the Renin 6. Alright, so rewarded, at least. So we have to shock a green source here. We've got basic Swamp in hand, so I guess we can make it Stomping Ground for 2nd red. I wonder if they just get another temple here. Or maybe they just have enough mana they can get a utility land. Maybe since I have the Ren going, they get the Scavenger Grounds. Nope, they're just going to start working towards Tron. That doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me, to be honest. It does not. Because like they've already got so much mana, I don't know what they could possibly need with more. Maybe they've already drawn a other Tron piece, so they just knew how to complete it already. We're drawn pretty well. Give us that. Alright, so I think I'm going to go Swamp, Liliana, plus I can ditch the Mire and bite back. Ditching the Mire because that's the one that they know about. We're doing alright for ourselves. They discarded the Ballista. Wow. That's a sign of strength. I mean, they've got 2 lands in hand and they discarded Ballista. That doesn't make much sense to me. Are they thinking that the next couple turns are going to be spent pumping Blast Zone? It's possible. Bolt is not great. Guess we'll lead on Liliana again, ditching Mire again. goes a mine. Weird. Alright, let's buy it back. Like, playing Forest, it's going to give them information, but I think the information is less relevant than just, like, the one life that we might not have to lose. So I'll play the Forest into the Bloodbraid. Would love to hit a way to interact with their lands, like Pillage or a Wildfire, maybe. Croaks is good, too. Does threaten their hand, at least. They are low on cards, so maybe this is good. They discarded a mine while already having power plants, so maybe their hand is just double land and this deals 3. Yeah. I mean, we curved 2, 3, 4. 3 cards that are probably pretty fine in the matchup, so looking okay. Yeah, they just really intended on using this Blast Zone. I guess maybe they didn't get a utility land because they just drew the utility land that they would have gotten, so that's also possible. Just gonna pop this now so I can't activate again. That makes sense. Ooh. That's interesting. I guess if they're gonna dismember, I'd rather them dismember the Bloodbraid, so let's attack first. I guess they don't have it. Let's fetch. And if I have an untapped land, I can hold up a Lightning Bolt, which would be good with the Kalita, so they find something like a Reshaper. So I guess Basic Mountain is kind of free. Sure. This may give away what I have in my hand, but again, I just don't think it's going to matter. Please no land all is dust. I mean, if they land all is dust, we can still maybe have Kroxa. Okay. Remember, this doesn't get the dies trigger because of Kalitas. And they don't have anything left either, so this is going to be good. Are they just dead? 3, 6, 8, 9. They're not quite dead. Oh, I guess, yeah. They're dead if they concede. Yay, we got one. Jeez. Caught a break. Alright, so we are a combined, what is it? 14 matches in, 9-5, right? Yeah, we're like 9-5 now. Or sorry. 9 yeah, we're 9-5. 10-4. What am I talking about? We are 10-4. 4 losses, 10 wins. Alright, so for this recording, I'm definitely going to do one more so we can get them in intervals of 5. So let's re-queue. Yeah, got there indeed. Finally. So we are at a 71% win rate now, which unfortunately has dropped us out of the top 20 in terms of win rate. But I think prizes extend past top 20, so maybe we can still get something. Obviously in a much worse position than we were before. Did I have a good vacation? Yeah, it was solid. Saw a lot of family now that the vaccines are kicking in, so seeing family always a good rejuvenator. I guess depending on the family, right? In the case of my family, I'm lucky enough to say that I enjoy seeing them. Still in the queue. Yeah, good deal indeed. Had some good food. Talked to some cousins I hadn't seen in a while. Ate some more food. Sometimes you need a vacation for your vacation. Yeah, that's fair. Alright, we are creating the match for Adibovoys. I don't even want to try to pronounce that again. Create. I'm just gonna butcher it a second time. There we go. Adibovoys. I guess I said I wasn't gonna try, but then I did it anyway. Cool. Let's go first with a keeper. Cool. Turn 1 Thoughtseize and turn 2 Tarmogoyf. It's the Golgari Dream Curve. They mulliganed once, a little bit of a help. And it's Prowess. Okay. So they've got Bolt, Morphos, Stormwing, Mutagenic Growth. I think I'm just going to go towards a strategy of dismantle all of their threats first, playing this sheerly like a control deck, which would have me taking Stormwing. I could take the Mana Morphos to disable the Stormwing, but taking Stormwing also disables Stormwing, so let's just do that. They've drawn Swift Spear. That's pretty lucky for them. I would have been able to deploy Tarmogoyf if they didn't find a threat here, but they did find a threat. So, lucky this is pushed, because the Mutagenic Growth would otherwise save their thing. So, I guess what I'm going to do here is go Foothills and pass. I'll let them make decisions before pushing. The downside of not pushing now, though, would be that if they found another Stormwing, they could Mutagenic Growth to enable it. If they're playing light up the stage, I don't want to enable that, but I guess they're not, given that they played a land first and that new card exists. Forget the name of it. It's Expressive Iteration, is that it? Alright, board's empty, it's Goyf time. Goyf is just the faster threat, and Bone Crusher as the stomp might be relevant. Or at least it'll flush out a Mutagenic Growth. Alright, so they've got Bolt available. Oh, wow. So they're offering a trade here. So if I block and then Mutagenic Growth, if they Growth and Bolt, this will be +4/+4. There's already instant in the yard, so it wouldn't even be a trade. Let's just take the hit. And then on their turn, I can both stomp. I guess I can't stomp and Kolaghan's Command because of mana restrictions. But I can at least make them use it not on an attack, which might make my blocks more effective. Growthing now. That's a good sign for me, at least. As long as I'm not just immediately dead here, obviously. But that's going to be pretty hard. If they bolt me, I'm taking 8 going to 8, but that's probably fine. Alright. Meyer. So I think I'm going to Kolaghan's Command here. If they've got another Mutagenic Growth to save it, I can at least have their other card being discarded. And then next turn I always have access to Stomp plus Bone Crusher. So let's do this now. Then we can get Blackleaf Cliffs down tapped. So only Mutagenic Growth would save this here, but that has their entire hand being discarded, and I don't think there's any one card that pushes their Swift Spear through the Goyf. Ligma agrees? Yeah. See, if they Mutagenic Growth here, I'm like actually kind of happy with it, because we've eaten their whole hand, and like I said, I don't think there's a single card that would punch through it. Then we just need to dodge the iteration. They did actually have the Mutagenic Growth there. They're just valuing keeping the Manamorphose, which is interesting. Alright, well, jam. Yeah, I think the opponent correctly evaluating the a situation there. Because like I said, if they mutagenic growth to save it, they're on empty, and there's not a single card that punches through. Just the Goyf. Alright, so the nightmare here would be Stormwing. Thought they had it for a sec. They could still have it. They could still have it. They bottom. Alright, well, we get to stomp that. And then it's probably worth it getting the few points of extra pressure going. Gonna get Mountain here because if I'm gonna fetch for a push, that would be a red source. Or a black source, so I need Swamps in the deck. I guess if I wanted to fetch for a Bolt, I can only get Mountain. Painlessly, that is. So maybe Swamp is better, but unlikely to matter. Alright, so we got you on a 2-turn clock, barring any burn spells. More land's not great. I could hold a creature back in case they've got something hasty, but it only stops a Swift Spear, hasty-wise. If they draw Swift Spear, if they have Swift Spear and a Bolt, they hit me for 5, which doesn't even kill me. Let's just jam both. If they have Vapor Snag, like it could get sticky if we only attack with 1, because then we're far away from killing them. Okay. So I'm feeling good now. Something pretty crazy would have to happen here. They'd have to like Swift Spear into a crap ton of cantrips. Cool. Alright, so Prowess. I like the push for obvious reasons. I like the brutalities a lot. I don't like Damping Sphere, even though they do tend to chain a bunch of spells. I think I want the spell bombs. They're going to be good versus Bedlam Reveler type stuff, and it can make them use Lava Darts and the stupid 1 mana 2 damage that flashes back. It makes them use that kind of awkwardly. And Cletus is going to be excellent if we can get there. Finally a match where Bolt is good. Yeah, Bolt's very good here. Engineer is something I'm never quite sure about. It can kill Stormwing if you're proactive with this, but it dies to actual everything that they're doing. So I don't think it's going to be on average good enough. Renin 6 is going to be terrible. The discard's also not going to be good. Thoughtseize takes the Stormwing entity, so in that regard it's better than Inquisition, but Inquisition is a lot less painful. I'm not super excited about either of them. Definitely want to take the Bobs out, that's for sure. Everything else seems very reasonable though. This has me needing 3 more. I don't want the Renin 6s. These promote kinds of the kinds of games that the opponent is not trying to fight. They're trying to really just outspeed this thing. I mean, I think the 3 cards I'm putting in are a mix of these 7 here. So it's really I think it's pretty close to a coin flip in terms of which is better, Inquisition or Thoughtseize. I'm leaning towards Inquisition just because the 2 life could really matter. Not taking Stormwing and maybe Bedlam Reveler though is concerning. Maybe I just play 1 Thoughtseize over an Engineer. I think Thoughtseize is probably better than Engineer just because it costs so much less mana. Yeah, their cards are less powerful individually, that's true. Like, a 1-2 with haste is just a 1-2 with haste. If they don't actually have the supporting spells. Pretty lucky to not have to face down a the 2 mana draw 2.5. Well, we can't keep this, unfortunately. If we can guarantee 2 lands off the top, this hand would be excellent. Ooh, triple Bolt, Inquisition, Blackleaf Cliffs, 2 lands total. Yeah. Let's ditch the Croak, so just keep all of the ways to interact. Seems good. We've got good Stormwing insulation with all of the bolts. So we've got an interesting decision of do we want to Inquisition on 1 or cast a Lightning Bolt on 1. Inquisitions are better the earlier we use them. So it's pretty close. I think I do want to Inquisition first. Expressive iteration means that they're probably not playing as many copies, if any, of the light up the stage. So I think without light up the stage in the equation, it becomes less clear what we want to do. And if their hand is kind of clunky and I can take if I can take a creature with the Inquisition, it makes the rest of my removal better. Because they're a pretty bad burn deck, but they're a pretty good creature deck. So if I can get rid of all their creatures and use everything as removal, including the Inquisition, this could be a way I pull farther ahead. They've got 3 lands, Dart, Iteration. Let's just take this Iteration. Go. Their hand's not very good. Just spewing this Dart now. Deal. That's good. Alright, well, I'm going to bolt now, so if they've got a trick, they're not attacking with it. And I guess I should play another land in case for whatever janky reason I want to bolt again in response. A mutagenic growth would save it, but that's fine. Let's bolt it again. So their hand is 2 lands. And we've got our threat too. We just need a land to eventually get there, and we can kill the next thing they do, which is also good. They can Stormwing if they find one because of Lava Dart. Along similar lines, if they find a Stormwing and they still have a Dart in the yard, Bolt won't kill it, so I'll have to be careful of that. I guess just digging for a 1-drop. They found it. They got Mountain and something. Ooh, Glyph was excellent. Want to do this first, I believe. We're weaker to Stormwing now, but Stormwing is pretty far from being the end-all be-all now. We've got a 4 or 5 in play. Alright, we're doing well. Owns up land means we get to Bloodbraid. Crooks is fine too. In the event they've got a Vapor Snag, I'll attack first, so I can replay the Glyph as opposed to getting it stranded in my hand for a turn when I Croaks instead. Yeah, like creature already in the yard. Whatever they discard is pretty unlikely to grow the Glyph. Yeah. I feel pretty split on mutagenic growth in this matchup. I really don't know if it's good or bad. Like it'll save your stuff from exactly Bolt. But I mean it's a pretty bad blowout if I've got something like a push. Annoying. So if they've got a Bolt here, it could get sticky. And it's simple. Thank you for the raid. Welcome everybody. So we would really like to avoid the opponent having, I guess, Bolt. I guess Wild Slash does it too. If they have Wild Slash, they just bump heads. So I feel like an attack is probably still good. And if they've got the Bolt, they'll get to eat my thing, but I've got second Glyph. So not the end of the world. What if you just got him into the Jungle Room and beat them with experience? Then so be it. So for those who just got here, welcome. I play lots and lots of Juns, as would be suggested by my channel name, the Junderdome. We're just playing some leaderboard matches where we're already queued. We did a 9-1 to queue, and we're currently 1-3 on the day, so not super great follow-ups. But luckily we can't lose a qualification, and we are currently a combined 10-4. But this one's looking good. Lava Dart, sure. Yeah, I was a lot better than 9-1 previously. I don't know if you've heard the buzz on Twitter and YouTube. I've been playing Bone Crusher Giant and Jund to some real good success. Recently, I finished a hot streak of 23-2. So that was pretty exciting. Yeah, I'm the one Bone Crusher guy. Well, I'm playing 3. But yeah, Bone Crusher has been absolutely excellent. Ooh, Reveler could get sticky. If we can just find an untapped land and Bloodbraid, things will get a lot easier. Yeah, I am the Serum Visions. I did not make this account when I was a Jund player. I made it when I was a Splinter Twin player. So Serum Visions was my namesake. This should be the W. Worst name ever for Jund player, except for maybe Celestial Purge. Yeah, Celestial Purge sounds worse. So they get to dart this down to a 2? Sure. You're still just dead, right? This wasn't out of the hand, though. It was flashback. Oh, did they just have more lava darts that I didn't see? Sure. I guess we're not just killing them here, then. I mean, we still get to knock them to 1. Right? I guess we don't even have a good attack anymore. Alright, pass then. Can't really attack into their buffed Bedlam Reveler. Yeah, Reveler was a pretty sick one. But I mean, I still feel pretty good with Bloodbraid and Kalidas left over. With Kroxa even as well. They are bolting my Goyf, which will actually kill it because it's tiny. Alright, they're putting up a fight. Untapped land would still be very good. They're at 1. I mean, I guess a burn spell would be even better, right? That works. Speaking of Bone Crusher Giant. Sick. Alright, so now we're combined 11-4. So I like to do my recordings in intervals of 5 matches. So I'm gonna do a quick deck tech and then play some more. But I'm gonna end the recording and then start a new one. So if you're around, you should definitely stick around. But let me go through the motions for the current video. And since y'all are new here, you'll get to see the current list. So that'll work out nicely. Alright, so this is what we're working with so far. So, alright, so for purposes of the recording, in the ManaTraders series, we are now a combined 11-4. Or so says the ManaTraders schedule. So, the Bone Crusher Giant's still the relatively new addition, so I'm gonna talk the most about this. I think there were, over the course of these 5 matches, pretty much every single match, I said, oh wow, Bone Crusher looks excellent in this hand. So like one of the coolest things about Bone Crusher is it helps to stop the drawing the wrong half of the deck syndrome. So like Bone Crusher is really excellent in that it interacts early and is a decent threat. And on top of all that, if you use both modes, it's a decent way to be up a card. So it does the 3 things that I look for. I want it to interact, I want it to provide a decent clock, and I want it to be a multi-for-1 or generate cards. It really does every job. It does no job super efficiently, but altogether in a single package, it's pretty powerful. I mentioned that I don't really think this is a meta for Dark Confidant right now. There just is not a whole lot of combo and control, and we faced no combo and control, and Dark Confidant looked pretty silly. So I mean, I feel like that assessment was pretty good. Along the lines of not a lot of combo and control, I think discard is pretty weak at the moment, so I'm only playing 5, and that felt pretty comfortable. And along similar lines, since there's lots of aggro and mid-range, the removal spells tend to be better. So playing lots of 1-mana removal spells has felt good. The Croxes have still felt good. The Glyphs have still felt good. I'm still unsure what this removal slot should be. I still think Terminate is probably the best between the options of Terminate, Decay, Dreadbore, Assassin's Trophy. All of the things that we're really looking to be worried about are creatures at the moment. Things like Stormwing Entity, most obviously, and all the stuff out of Eldrazi-tron. And obviously I could play something like Assassin's Trophy just to cast a wide net. But I think a lot of the time giving the opponent a land is pretty backbreaking. So I think if you know what you're expecting to see, I think narrowing it down to a more narrow answer like Terminate or Decay is probably good. And I think Terminate is still good because, like I mentioned, lots of aggro and mid range. So I think Terminate more often than not is going to get the job done. New follow from Slayerfall. Thanks for the support. I really appreciate it. And then the Kolaghan's commands have been excellent. Just a pretty good grindy tool. I did mention not a lot of control, which tends to be one of the strategies that Kolaghan's command is good against. But this card's also just fantastic versus mid-range decks and has some pretty good utility versus the aggro decks as well. So all in all, the main deck has felt pretty sweet, and the results have showed it. So, and then I guess we'll talk about the sideboard briefly. Again, also has felt just completely solid. I found myself bringing in all of these cards pretty much every 5-match series, so I think the sideboard pretty good. It's possible something else does one of these jobs better than something that I'm currently playing, but like I said, I mean, they've all done the job pretty much as intended, so not a whole lot to complain about there, and I think I'm just continuing to like the list. Again, the only change that I made recently was I had a Ghost Quarter in the sideboard, which is what I had gone 23-2 with. But the Ghost Quarter was literally good only once, and it was in a matchup where Damping Sphere would have also been good. So I mean, I think Damping Sphere is just gonna catch a wider range of things I'm worried about, because like the things that the Ghost Quarter comes in against are things like Amulet Titan and Tron, and like Damping Sphere comes in versus those as well. And it's individually powerful, whereas like things like Ghost Quarter, you really have to combo it with another card being run in 6 to make it really potent. But yeah, I like my cards to be individually powerful, so I think Damping Sphere is just better there. And it also has like the incidentally good matchups where it's also good, right? Or things like Storm, which, I mean, Storm's already, I think, a good matchup. But I mean, it's got, what I'm trying to say is it has other places where it's good, as opposed to like just the places where Ghost Quarter would be good. So I mean, I think Damping Sphere is a good upgrade over the Ghost Quarter, at least. So that's gonna be it for this recording. Again, this recording will be on my YouTube, so if you're not already subscribed to the YouTube, you definitely should. All my social media accounts are posted right below my face, right here. So if you're watching on YouTube, thanks for watching up to this point, and until next time, jump them out, and catch you next time.